thank you everyone for coming. Actually, I didn't expect that I will be just one presenter today, but let it be. My name is Ksenia Rydannykh. I'm data analyst from Motor Consulting Company. Mark is my boss. And today I will demo for you Tableau LangChain. And before my demo, I would like to say a huge shout out to Will Sutton. I hope I pronounce correctly his name. So I use his tutorial to implement this stuff, and also I use his code from GitHub repository. So it's all from him. I just using his tutorial and demo you my results. Oh, and actually, you can find this initial YouTube tutorial using this QR code. So this is kind of 20 minutes video, and it's pretty explained how you need to do everything and to run everything. And also it contains some link to GitHub repository with Tableau LangChain starter key. So everything what you need is here. You just need to upload all of these files and watch this tutorial and probably spend some time to figure out what is happening. And that's all actually what you need. So I'll come back to my presentation. Before starting, I would like to make some clarification of some terms, because 2 years ago for me it was pretty strange words, which is currently is used from everywhere, everyone. So what is agent? Before clarifying what is AI agent, what is agent? If you're talking about classical program, it's usually just algorithm. So just stop-by-stop sequence with some condition. You can see some image of this. But the term agent is from robotic field. And it means that it's actually also some program, but this program takes some actions from the strict list of actions. For example, move to the left, move to the right. It can be whatever, actually. So it takes some action. This agent takes some action, get some rewards, and make new observation of the environment. And after this, based on observation and based on the received reward, take next action from the possible list of actions. So it's just not just strict sequence of step-by-step actions. So agents just takes its action based on his observation. And actually, AI agent, it's completely the same thing. But except just list of actions, it also can use large language models. But actually, it's new type of action. It's the same. So for example, AI agent can have a list of tools. It can be, for example, send some email, call to the client, create some text based on this data, whatever. And also it can use large language models to do actually also whatever. For example, to create a query, to summarize some data, whatever. How are you using large language models today, you can use it in your AI agent. And it's also make some observation, plan some actions, and make these actions. Why, in the name of this agent, we use LangChain? LangChain, it's just a name of some framework which you can use to create your own AI agent. It has some tools, some framework, you can create your own agent, you can publish it and use it. But you can do it by yourself, or you use some different frameworks, it doesn't matter. But Tableau AI agent was developed using this LangChain framework. That's it. This is a schema from YouTube tutorial from Will. And what does Tableau LangChain agent? It connects Tableau server or Tableau cloud, and particularly not Tableau server and Tableau cloud, but data source, specific data source, to the large language models using this LangChain agent. And I want to highlight here, so we usually use, for example, Claude or ChatGPT, but within the company, it can be not so secure. but you still can use some large language models that can be deployed locally, for example, Llama, or like kind of different large language models. So you can deploy it locally within your company, or already your company has some like deployed large language models, and you connect your AI agent to these large language models. That's why you can have like some secure environment. And my last slide for today, after this we move on to the demo. I try to understand how this Tableau LangChain works. I can be wrong here, but like this is my understanding, because I'm using it just the tool. I just calling it from a like Python script. But based on my understanding, like what we have, user can type some question somewhere, doesn't matter where. We send this question to LangChain agent, and also we send some credentials from like our Tableau server, some secure credentials. Tableau LangChain call some tool which can request metadata from Tableau, metadata and the list of all possible like attributes and like what dimensions we have, what you can like request. After this, the tool like send this information to large language model, and large language model received some prompt, which contains like some prompt, the question from the user, and metadata about your data source. And it tried to create, from the first step, it tried to create his own query, try to answer this question. After this, it used again tool, and tool now sends not the request about metadata, but specific request to answer this specific question. After this, it got some answers, and it's just JSON with a lot of data, but currently it's about like our question. We suppose that this is about the question. And it's give it to large language model again. And large language models now like receive this JSON with all the data, the questions from the user, and it tries to answer to this question with like just sentences. And like our user gets natural language answer for his question about his data. So let's move on to the demo. I think it will be more clear after this. Here I use external extension. That's why I have here this pop-up. So I allow to use it. My external extension, it's like small web application. It's a chat. It's a part of this starter kit. So I use it. Here we have standard Superstore template, external extension with the chat, and we can ask any question about this data source. So I will use just questions from my chat, but it can be like anything else. We're waiting the answer. Sometimes it can take some time because like it sends some information to Tableau LangChain after like to request information about data source to large language model. So it's kind of the process. And sometimes if you ask some difficult question, large language models can like redo his initial request and send it again. So it kind of can be like repeated. So here we can see the answer to this question. We can compare it with the dashboard, but it can be actually completely different data because here we used data source. So it can even use information from like other dashboards here. So yeah, this is like the answer. We can ask the second question. It's like the new process. Waiting. Yeah, here we go. So like on my first question, which was about show me the top customers by sales, it got some information about like customers and its sales, and it found like top customers by sales. And with my second question, I asked what are the sales trends this quarter. So it makes some summary about this data, but actually I suppose like use like the same data. So we can check here. So here I use external extension, and I can actually use it just as a chat. And I can use it, for example, integrated via like Teams or like whenever. It doesn't need to be exactly integrated into the Tableau like here. So it can be just chat anywhere or like via Teams or like some chatbot via Teams. So like this is pretty flexible here. So it's completely the same. So it just interacts with the data source from Tableau. Yeah, and it can get some answers. It should be the same. Yeah, so you can see it's the same. What can we do else? Also, I can show you that like this Tableau, this LangChain platform allowed you to debug this Tableau like AI agent or whatever, like any other agent. And you can see like every time when you like call this agent, it has some history, and you can see this history like it's just the sequence of some steps, but it's not strict steps. Sometimes they can like, it depends on the answer. Like sometimes if you like, if it gets some errors, it can come back to the previous steps. And here you can see that we call, I use ChatGPT here, but it can be any large language models. And for example, this is like agent. So with the green color here, you can see the tools. And in Tableau LangChain, the tools can only request like metadata and request some query about data source. You can see like here, for example, it got some error, repeat it again some error. Here, it requested like the data and got some information about customers and their sales. Yeah, if on this first stage, ChatGPT gets some prompt, this is part of the prompt, and as an input, and as an output, so maybe it's not clear here. So particularly if you found like specific request which was successful, it creates some query. Here, I think it's already answered the question. Oh, this is a query. So this ChatGPT like got some information about metadata. This is a prompt. Prompt also contains all metadata about our data source, and it creates some query. And this query was used on the next like steps. And after this, I can maybe this one. It just freeze a little bit. Maybe like this. Yeah, and this is the final step. So here, like ChatGPT gets some prompt again, some information from data source, and it creates some answer using natural language. How like it looks like behind the scene? It's a collection of Python code and some scripts. Initially, to create this, you need to collect some like keys and credentials from your large language model. Here I use like a ChatGPT. I will not show you my credentials because it's not secure, but it's kind of like template. So here you should provide some token from your large language model to use it like with API. These some credentials from LangChain. You also need to register to LangChain platform. And all of these settings from Tableau, it's just the name of your Tableau domain, Tableau site. You need to create some settings like to allow some application to interact with your data, to provide some information about your user, and provide data search fluid, like ID for your specific data source. After this, we use like this web app Python code, which just like call our AI agent takes all of my credentials, like create agent, specify specific limbs, tools, and so on, and run our chat. And actually, like here, you also have some, in this folder, you have some code for this chat, so it's already here. Also, you can change here prompt. So this prompt is sent to large language model, and you can change it to specify like your prompt or play with it. So, and here we also have some code for dashboard extension. And I show how you can do this now. So this is my dashboard with my extension, and I show how you can do it pretty easily. I just go to the edit mode. And for example, I can allow overview. So for example, here I don't have any extension. I go to the extension, and here we have some settings, access local extensions, double click. Here it's already opened my folder with this file with extension TREX. So I just use it. Yeah, and here you can see this file. It's pretty small, it should be formatted, but it's actually the same. And one more what I can show you. So about settings, it's pretty easy, but it takes some time to figure out. So first of all, you need to create like new connection, and it provide you some credentials. And also you need to allow it, like to add secure URL for your extension. I use it locally for now, so you can see localhost. But in, for example, you deploy it within your company, it can be like a specific URL to this extension. Actually, that's all. I'm ready for questions.
That's great, Ksenia. So have you used that kind of check with clients, or it's still more or less like a prototype or exploration?
We offered this concept to one of our clients, and it was actually part of one of our contracts, but just as a concept. So they're not ready to implement it, but they are ready to consider it, like, yeah, and maybe within the next steps, they will be ready to do something.
Okay. Is there any question from the audience, or people try that kind of stuff, or would Tableau MCP be very similar to that? And you've played with Tableau MCP, have you? Is it
yeah, a little bit. Yeah, similar-ish. I don't know enough about LangChain to kind of know the difference, but what I played with the MCP, so you basically kind of connect it into Claude, and then you can just kind of query published data sources in Claude because you're connected to it with, you've got this connector that you've kind of added in to Claude. So it works in a kind of a similar way. You're just in the Claude environment rather than in Tableau or in that separate chat that Ksenia was showing.
I wonder if you can, Ksenia, with the demo you did, can you create charts as well? Can you ask the LLM model to answer the question, but also create a separate chart? Or it's only text, it comes back as text only?
It's text only and within one session, so it like doesn't save some history, as I understood it correctly, and doesn't create, it's like just your own chat, and you can ask the question and get some answers. And after this, when you like reopen it, it's just like without anything. We got some questions from Ina. Is there any limits on the number of requests? So I don't know from the LangChain perspective. It's like it should be explored actually, maybe some limit there. But from large language models, like each of the requests costs some money. It's pretty small one, but it depends on the size of the company, of course. So yeah, so this is the limitation. But if you use, for example, your own local large language model, it will be for free. But I think not so many companies use it now, just their own local LLMs. Yeah.
Cool. Any more questions, comments about LangChain or other type of tools that you guys have come across in the same kind of space? I wonder what Tableau Next is using. I don't know if you've had plays with Tableau Next, which is a tool that's more geared towards Salesforce customers. Because there's a LLM model on the side where I think it's an agent or concierge. This one creates charts as well. You can answer plain English question and it goes back and then give you numbers, answers, but it comes back as charts as well. So it's slightly different, but I wonder if they use that kind of technology as well or something similar.
I heard from Marco, maybe he can add some information that this interaction in with the data is available only on Tableau Cloud, but a lot of companies use Tableau Server and it's not available for them. So it's like completely different platform for now. So they need to move to Tableau Cloud to have this. Marco, are you here?
Yeah, sorry, I'm here. Yes, that's correct. At least, I think there was some discussions on the different WhatsApp groups about Tableau looking to implement that long term, but I think it's not yet available, and I didn't think there was any kind of specific dates on that. I think the other discussion, and maybe Fred, you know a bit more, I think there's definitely other people like P and Sarah that might know a bit more about that, who are not here, obviously, because this is the Brisbane User Group. But I guess the question was more around, like you said, yes, it's all well and good to connect it to the data and ask questions in a chat. And I think what Ksenia has done was useful because it created like a little chat where you could ask a question. The chat was internal to Tableau as opposed to MCP, where you need to have that, like you need to interact with Claude, and then Claude may not be available in a company and all that kind of stuff. So I think what's like what Ksenia has presented, it's more flexible for some clients, especially government, and we work a lot with them. But it still has the missing piece for me is, like you said, Fred, can you create a chart out of this? You know, you now have connected to the data, and Claude can definitely create some interesting charts. I think the response that I got when I asked this question was that Concierge was supposed to be doing that. Yeah. But I have explored it a little bit in different times with the sales rep, and basically they haven't told me yet that it's available as a feature. Like it was something coming, and I was like, okay, I'm ready to buy if that's there, but it's like, oh no, it's not there. Okay, then I'm not buying it. Let me know when it's available, because otherwise, I think that's probably the main interest for people to say, hey, I'm on Tableau Next. I want to ask a couple of questions to the data, or even I want the system to tell me what is a good chart to use with this data to answer this question. I think that's basically like, obviously it's not something that myself or, Andy or Ksenia or yourself will necessarily use, but it is something that's useful for, some customers that might have, some people in an organization that don't have the skills to do a dashboard, but sometimes they need a quick answer and a bit of a chart. I don't know. That was where I got to. But I feel it's like, I feel at the moment it's like, AI is coming. it's like, self-driving cars are coming, and they're kind of coming, but there's a lot of little shortcomings that kind of don't make it get there quite yet. That always feels like the response. And I think it's more because there's a lot of details that need to be kind of ironed out. The technology is there, but you just, the details to take a lot of time to kind of discover and get through. I don't know what other people think about that. But.
As Rahul, you mentioned Copilot and Power BI. I don't know if you can talk, or maybe you left your office.
No, yeah, I'm here. I'm just, I'm at home. Copilot. So Copilot at the moment, I think I haven't actually tested. It's on my to-do list. Actually, I can probably update in a LinkedIn post. It's on my to-do list to check for one of our clients anyway, because they did ask to check whether Power BI, like whether Copilot is good at creating charts in Power BI. My experience is that some of that stuff was already available in Power BI a long time ago. Did it do a good job? No, but it was kind of like, you know, it was already working. If you wanted a quick chart on a data set, it could do it. I guess the question is like, what are we using this technology for? I think, yeah, I'll update though, because that is something. Maybe someone has got
Azure.
Azure. Do you have more information on that?
No, it's true that the Copilot is not doing a good job in Power BI. Sometimes it's hanged on. Sometimes says, "Oh, sorry, I can't bring the answer for you." So yeah. So after this presentation, I'm really appreciated that in Power BI or in any platform, in platform. It is a good time now to bring MCP for at least for exploring information. Sometimes it is a security issue to do something by MCP. If there is a miscommunication, there might be some mistake, or there might be some misaction in the cloud. But at least for exploration, like the simple prompt, like the five most top customer already. For exploration, it is high time to use MCP, and we're trying to do that. Yeah, I'm highly appreciated with this project, Ksenia. And I have also browsed some LinkedIn tutorial where one of the guy was explained how to set up MCP for any. I mean, starting from local from local MCP, and then go beyond local to cloud. So, and yes, and I agree. Yeah, Copilot is not doing a great job. So it's we have to integrate. I mean, customize agent for our work. Yeah.
Nice comments. Any more comments or questions? Ksenia, you go.
Yeah, thank you, Zraful, for your comment. Actually, like, I just memorized our conversation with Marco, and just like you told, sometimes Copilot is not good with answers to the questions. Like, it's the same situation with Tableau. Like, if you ask some like tricky questions to your data source, it will not be able to answer it. It's just like going in like to the loop and trying like, and will not answer it. So it's kind of the problem of like AI, I think, because it's not like exactly right answer, yeah. But I think maybe rather than just allow to the users like to give them like the chat or like stuff like this, maybe we can create some like questions, some prompts which we test before, and we are pretty sure that this is correct, and allowed like users to use them. Like, ask them what questions do you need like in your work. It can be some like summary or trends or something like difficult. It just takes some time to create. And to create these prompts and allow them to use them. This is like one option. And the second, like using large language models with Tableau, it's not just like interacting with them using chat. It can be even some like summary on your Tableau dashboard. I mean, just some text about some data, which will be updated like every time you open dashboard, and to like show you some like summary of all of this data. And I think it's also can be pretty useful because it takes some time to understand like complex data. Yeah.
It's true. With the Power BI dashboard, we provided all the questions that our client asked for. But still, they are asking funny question to go using Copilot to Power BI. This is natural. So people wants to know what is not presented in the dashboard. So it's human nature. So yeah, just we have to take the challenge how to make the agent, whether it is Copilot or it is customized one, so that people can at least get as much as answer they can.
That's very true.
And Ksenia mentioned there was an interesting, that's probably the other use case that probably the more interesting one that I think Concierge may eventually help with, was to have this basically like AI generated commentary on whatever it's shown in the dashboard. So that is something, it sounds a bit silly, and I mean, to a certain extent, if your dashboard is not showing, it's not kind of like good at showing what you're supposed to see, then it's probably not telling a great story in itself. But I guess sometimes you can, you may have some information that you want to introduce in support of some of your dashboards. So you might be able to mix some of the knowledge that you have about a certain industry, for example, with what's displayed there, and try to get AI to say, why would the trend be doing something or other. It's obviously fraught with a ton of risks, because AI might just misinterpret the whole thing. But I am confident that to a certain extent, if we keep it relatively safe, AI might be able to say, oh, this is going up, this is going down, this may be due to X, Y, and Z. And that's something that sometimes clients have wanted in the past from my end. So, doing that manually is quite difficult. But if for example, if we have a lot of workshops about the data, and then we do we get the track. So back in the days, we used to have a workshop about a large dashboard. We discussed all the different kind of additional information that you might have, like about the economic state of the country and some of the things that were kind of like impacting on some of the data. And then we would summarize that. We would create individual kind of tailored little comments that we would put in like a tooltip. So if you were able to kind of, let's say you have the meeting, you record a meeting, you download the whole kind of transcript of the meeting, then you kind of let the AI use that. That may be interesting and may have some, kind of interesting features beyond like just the pedestrian commentary of what's on the dashboard. But that was also part of the other kind of weirdness of this, is like when, like you say, Astroful, is that if you ask Power BI or even Tableau, like with the way that Ksenia's presented it, a question, it doesn't care what's displayed on the dashboard. It's just going straight back to the data source. So there may be some things that maybe your data source is not exactly clean. Maybe there's some things that you have, filtered out that you don't want people to see, and that, that disregards completely that. So it may provide some conflicting information with what's displayed in the dashboard, and that could be confusing. Now, should you have your data source clean? Of course, but reality is kind of like, I think it's a bit disconnected. That's what I kind of never necessarily reconcile with some of that stuff, that there is that little disconnect between what you're showing the dashboard and what the data is actually showing.
Yeah, that's true. Do you reckon the end users, non-technical people, would get confused?
Absolutely. I think they already get confused at the moment if two numbers are not exactly the same.
We understand, but they probably don't understand there's a database in the backend. They probably say there's a pretty chart that does go up and down, but that's it.
Yeah, and I mean, you can obviate that by making your data set less complex sometimes. Like you can clean up your data set so you only really have the fields that you need or the aggregation that you need. But, I've never built that kind of dashboard. Most of the time, my dashboards are complex aggregations of things because, so the user can do a whole sort of like lots of stuff. But, so I don't know. I think it's a super interesting field that's developing. But like I said, there's a lot of details that kind of, we need to work out. We're the people that kind of will need to work these details out so that clients, our organizations can use this stuff.
You have to come back if you have a client that employs you for enabling one of those projects.
I think we, We'll get there. Yeah, our government is very keen at the moment, like for good and bad reasons. Like sometimes the reason is like they just want to use that to show that they're doing they're using AI because there's a risk in not understanding new technology, and so they kind of try and make it look like they're doing stuff in AI, which sometimes it brings some stuff that is not very useful, but other times you get the opportunity to do some interesting stuff. So what Ksenia showed was originally part of a project, and then we realized that the technology's just not quite there. Lots of stuff was promised from Tableau, from a bunch of other things, but it's just not available to do what we wanted to do, which was more that commentary and the ability to ask questions of the dashboard, not necessarily of the data. And also the department wasn't quite ready with an internal LLM already deployed. They were deploying it. There are departments, I think it's no secret to say that Treasury, for example, have their own model that they deployed an AI based on OpenAI for GPT-4, which is a bit behind the curve, but they've deployed it internally. It's secure. They can connect to it and they use it as a chatbot, and I've been using it as a chatbot. It's not too bad. So I think that space is evolving even in government, where you'd expect that they'd be probably the slowest. But actually, sometimes I feel in this case, the businesses are maybe a little bit slower, at least in Queensland, compared to government that have a bit of money to kind of try these things that are a little bit harder to pull off.
Interesting.
I don't know, have other people had, anyone else here has been doing some AI stuff, projects, or been like in their company as opposed to like their kind of personal project?
Not really, from what I know. Other than just Copilot, but just to scan SharePoint and then drives, not data stuff. Ksenia, thanks for the demo. I think I really like when you were demonstrating the different steps, because I've never realized that kind of stuff happened in the background. So I think that was useful to see that. So thanks for the presentation. See, there was only one presenter. We've all been there for almost an hour, so we talk and talk and talk. Which is for once we got time. We don't need to rush. So yeah, send me your address if you want to. I can see the swag as usual, unless people want to talk about other stuff. But I'm not sure if we'll set up another Brisbane talk before the end of the year. Usually it's busy. Maybe we can catch up for drinks somewhere in the city. But thanks for joining. Thanks for coming. Virtual, I think, is different, but we get the same number of people anyway. So